Seven, six, five, four, three, two, one.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to CBD Talk Podcast. This is episode number 31. And we are doing a show today that I have been wanting to do since episode 1. So I'm very excited to welcome Kate from Vet CBD. Yes, this show is all about pets and CBD. So get your notebooks out, get ready. We're going to have some good information. So thank you so much for joining us, Kate.
You're welcome. I'm really happy to be here.
So, oh, wow. So many questions to ask. First of all, I'm thrilled that there is a company called Vet CBD out there. I've been to your website. You've got great stuff on there. We'll talk a little bit about where you are and all that, and legalities and just so many things to talk about today. But first of all, how about you just tell us a little bit about you, what you do,
Okay.
and how you started and your company started working with CBD.
Okay, perfect. So obviously I work with Vet CBD. We are a company that is founded by a veterinarian that I worked with in the hospital situation. I am a registered veterinary technician, a registered veterinary nurse. I've been in emergency and critical care for over 13 years. So Dr. Shu, who is our veterinarian, approached me about 2 years ago now, telling me what he was doing, that he was working with CBD in animals for a variety of ailments, and asked if I would be interested. And I was. I did a ton of research. I listened to him tell me, what exactly he was doing, and it's just incredible to me. I am so thrilled to be able to help animals now in a different way than as a critical care emergency nurse.
I bet. I bet. Animals have such a special place in people's hearts and in their families. It is one of the most tragic things that someone can go through, other than the loss of a family member, is the loss of the pet. It's unbearable. It's unbearable.
Yeah, they are a part of our family.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're a furry family or scaly family, or but yeah, and I have personally, I know that a lot of the people that listen to my show have reached out to me, and I found you through a video that was on Facebook from a news channel.
Okay.
And I don't remember what news channel that was. Do you remember? Do you know?
I believe it was CNBC.
That's it.
The video that you're to.
Yeah, that's it. And I passed it on to a lot of people, and then I know several of them called you.
Yeah, we got quite the influx of phone calls after that video. It was a really great way of getting the information out there, because a lot of people don't realize that CBD can be just as helpful in our animals as it is to us.
Well, how about, first of all, we touch on this one subject really quick that I want people to know up front: why you can't help everyone right now.
Okay, that's a great question, and it's one that I get at least once a day. So the reason why we are exclusively available at this time in California and not throughout the country or even the world is because we source our CBD from marijuana, and we use full flower to make that CBD. So products that are available online, like single molecule CBD products or hemp-sourced CBD products, those can be purchased online or in pet boutiques and sometimes in veterinary hospitals. But because of the laws and regulations that exist today, the fact that we use full flower marijuana to make that CBD, that is the reason why we are only available in California at this time. But I want to let everybody know that we are such huge advocates of education, information, and bringing our medicine to pet owners and their pets across the country. So we definitely have plans to expand into other states in the near future.
Thank God. Thank God. And I'm wondering, has Dr. Shu talked about let me put this way. If there is a company in a different state that works with THC products already, like a manufacturer of products for dispensaries and stuff, is it okay if they contact you to see if maybe you guys might be willing to branch out to their state and for them to help you with that?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have the exact specifics about how we're going to be branching out into other states, but the way the law is now, we actually have to have a facility in the state that we're distributing in. So,
Right. Got it. Okay. Well, I just, you never know who might be listening and who might say,
yeah.
hey, I'll build a facility because I am a pet lover and I want to help people and their pets. And I have $1 million to put into this. So maybe, who knows? So I just want to throw that out there just in case some of you rich people out there want to help these pets and help Vet CBD, because what they do is amazing. So it's great stuff. Okay, so let's talk about science a little bit.
Okay.
First off the bat, let's just touch on what the AVMA has to say. And AVMA is the governing body for the veterinarians. So what are they saying?
So they don't have a concrete stance on the issue of cannabis as a medicine. I believe at this time it's just a blanket no. Cannabis is not a medicine. It's not a viable medicine for pets at this time, because I think a really big problem in the veterinary world is that everybody who's been in veterinary medicine, even if you're not in emergency medicine, has seen an animal come into the hospital who has gotten into their owner's, most likely edibles, and they have gotten into way too much THC. Plus, there's the chocolate and the nuts that we have to worry about. But I mean, mainly it's the THC content it's way too high for these animals to handle, and you can see drops in blood pressure. You can see heart rate slowing down. They become very easily overly stimulated by light and sound and noise. They can become very depressed. It's hard to see, and we've all seen these pets and we've all treated these pets. So I think that is probably the biggest stigma, and people just aren't aware of CBD and what it can do, and that you can give pets and children this medicine and not get them high. There
Exactly.
is THC in our product, but there's not enough THC to get anybody high.
Exactly. And that is so important. We just really want to stress that we are not talking about getting your pet high. That this is
absolutely, yeah,
that's a bad thing to do. Do not do that to your pet. We're talking about the responsible use of a cannabinoid in the cannabis plant, and a full spectrum product that has all sorts of great things that can help them. But this is not about blowing marijuana smoke in your pet's face. This is absolutely
exactly.
Yeah. So okay, so let's talk about how it works with pets and how it works with pets.
Sure. We recommend our product for ailments like inflammation, and inflammation can include everything from arthritis to an irritable bowel disease, anxiety, separation anxiety, noise anxiety, travel anxiety, all of that's under the umbrella. Seizures is a big one, epileptic seizures, nausea, loss of appetite. These are all reasons why we recommend our product for use in pets. And I'm sorry, what was the second part of your question?
Well, so how does it work?
So all animals have an endocannabinoid system, just like we do. Mammals, birds, reptiles, I think arachnids are maybe the only animal that we know that doesn't have an endocannabinoid system. So cannabis works with the endocannabinoid system. ECS is responsible for your body's homeostasis, so keeping your body in balance. Things like temperature regulation, mood regulation, pleasure, pain, your central nervous system plays a huge part in the endocannabinoid system. It's just all about balance. And sometimes your body doesn't have enough of the chemical endocannabinoid molecules.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where outside cannabinoids can play a part in regulating your body.
Awesome. So, are there any studies that you know of that are specific to pets, to animals other than humans?
So most research studies, there's a lack of research studies in general, I think, surrounding cannabis as medicine. Most of the studies out there in general use an animal model. So most studies are using rats or pigs or dogs to base their studies off of. And that's no different than with cannabis research. So scientists are using animals to test these theories and to prove these theories. Animals have an endocannabinoid system. We know it works for them. Animals don't have the placebo effect that people can have, right? So if you are giving your pet CBD and for arthritis, say, and you notice that, in a day or two, they're able to get up from the floor more easily. They're happy to take a longer walk with you in the morning. They don't seem as painful. It's because the medicine is working, not because they don't have the capacity to believe in a placebo effect.
Exactly. And that is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of people have issues with testing on animals, which I completely understand. The good thing
Sure.
about testing with cannabis is that there are no side effects. So they might get sleepy. I mean, when it comes to CBD, not THC.
When it comes
THC,
to CBD,
yeah, THC with pets, that's a different story. So with respect to your products, they're very high in CBD and very low in THC then, correct?
Yeah, our product is about a 20-to-1 ratio of CBD to THC.
Right. So that falls also above the Industrial Hemp Act, which is the 0.3% THC, which is another reason why it would be sold in dispensaries, right? So you're sold in dispensaries in California.
That's correct. Yes, that's correct. Okay.
And so let's talk about some what type of products do you have? Or is it all oil? Or are you using any topical stuff, or what have you got?
That's a good question. At this time, we have one product, which is the tincture. We have two size bottles available, a 1 ounce bottle and a 2 ounce bottle, and that's the 20-to-1 ratio of CBD to THC. Like I said, it's a tincture. It's dosed by body weight. Dr. Shu formulated the dosage out, so there's no guesswork, which I think is a really big bonus of our product, is that it's super easy for pet owners to give to their pets because the dosage and formulation is already worked out for them. We are working on a shampoo at this time, a CBD infused shampoo, which is going to be extremely beneficial to animals who have allergies.
Yes. I'm so excited about that. There are so many animals who have problems with allergies and are itching and have hot spots, and oh my gosh, that is awesome.
Yeah. It's a huge problem for a lot of pets.
So
we're really excited about it.
Can you do a spray also though that you can leave on?
Yeah, we're going to consider working with other mediums as well, but right now we're working on the CBD infused shampoo. It'll be like a treatment shampoo, so you'll work it into your pet's skin, let it sit for a few minutes, and then rinse it off, just like any medicated prescription shampoo.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. Oh my gosh, you're going to help so many pets. It's going to be awesome. Now, with the products like that, with the shampoo, will you be able to ship that or will people be able to buy that online, or will that also have the higher THC in it than the hemp?
It's also going to have too high of a
Okay.
threshold of THC.
Okay, just curious. Just curious.
Yeah.
Just being a little selfish here. I wonder.
I think we would love to be available online.
Well, we are going to hopefully get you to the point where you're going to be in a lot more states. So,
Yes.
and I'm going to say something bad here that you are not going to corroborate, but I'm going to say that I have friends in California, and so if I need something, I'm going to have them get it for me. So, sorry. Prove it. You don't say a word over there. Don't say a word. But it's when it comes to these laws right now, it is absurd. We all, everyone that's watching this or listening to this, knows darn well that it's past time for this to change. It's just ridiculous. And just take away the scheduling completely. Let it be legal everywhere so that we can start helping everyone, pets included. So people, pets, everyone, just stop playing the game. So that we don't even have to go there because it's already something that we've covered in the last 30 episodes. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no need to get on that soapbox today. So how, when it comes to dosing, how is it different from dosing a cat from a dog? I mean, are there bodies, or are there? I mean, is there enough of a difference that there's problems there?
Dogs and cats are very similar when it comes to medication dosing. So there isn't a separate dose for our product for dogs or for cats. It's all based on body weight. So if you have a 5-pound Chihuahua or an 8-pound cat, they're going to receive the same dose.
Okay, cool. And so for the people who buy your product, they'll be able to see on the bottle what the dosing is. So
absolutely, and something with our product, because it's a tincture and it's dosed by an oral syringe that's in the packaging, we recognize, so Dr. Shu formulated the dosing out by weight, but we recognize that every pet is an individual and every pet's ailment is going to be specific to them. So it's very easy to adjust the dose as needed for your pet because CBD is so safe. Mm-hmm. So we always recommend starting at the recommended dosage and then giving it a few days to see how your pet does. And then you can always increase or decrease slowly depending on how they're doing.
Exactly. And that's the same with humans as well. I mean, people need to kind of tune into what's happening, monitor their pets, and if they have an anxiety or something like that, instead of having relief from anxiety, then titrate it down and mm-hmm. such. Now, so I know your dosing is for your product, but for the people outside of California, are there any guidelines or any tips that you can give them when it comes to weight and how much to give animals?
It's hard because I can't speak to another product because I don't know how anything else has been formulated. Exactly. I guess my biggest point of advice is just really be careful and make sure that you're not giving your pet a product that has enough THC to cause a psychoactive reaction. Yes,
that is very true. And you had mentioned 20-1 before, but yeah, like you said, there have been so many pets that have had terrible experiences by getting into their owners' edibles. That it's a bad thing. I know that when our dog was in the hospital, or when we had taken him in, there was another couple there, and they had a small dog, and they were just bawling in the waiting room, and I talked to him a little bit, and I had heard the doctor say something about the dog getting into grapes Well, I didn't realize that grapes was a code word for THC at that particular location. And
Oh,
because I didn't want to
funny
stigma.
because
Yeah, well, that's what the doctor had said, to the receptionist or one of the people working there, and that's like their code word because they didn't want anyone else to hear what had actually happened to the pet.
oh,
Um, and so the pet owners actually told me what had happened, and that it had gotten into their edibles, and they were just so distraught. Um,
mhm.
it is so obviously this is not something that you want to do with a pet. It's just a bad thing. So, how about some of your experience when it comes to um, pets with cancer? Have you had any customers, or that have used it for their pets that are suffering from cancer?
Absolutely. We don't recommend Vet CBD for cancer just because there's such a lack of research surrounding cannabis as a cancer treatment, and there's nothing concrete, especially when it comes to specific types of cancer, and especially in animals. So because of the lack of research, we don't promote that CBD for cancer usage, but anecdotally, I've spoken with so many pet owners who have told me that their veterinarian gave their dog or their cat, X amount of months to live, and it's a year later and their pet is thriving. Or, they saw a tumor on ultrasound and they started Vet CBD along with, some other protocols, sometimes more traditional protocols like chemotherapy or radiation therapy. And a few months later, the tumor has shrunk in size. So I've heard amazing stories.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like I said, we don't promote that CBD use for cancer, but it's certainly not going to hurt. And it can absolutely help with some of the side effects of cancers, like pain, like inflammation, and especially if the pet's going through chemo, nausea, loss of appetite.
Definitely, most definitely, most definitely. I and that's the same with humans as well. If you're
Mm-hmm.
going through chemo or radiation, it is a wonderful thing to be taking to help with those side effects. Truly is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if you're going through such hard treatment like that, even in animals, you can get really depressed if you're not eating, and you can kind of lose the will to live. And if you're, you gain that appetite back and you feel better in your body, that can go a long way towards the healing process.
Exactly. And it's the anecdotal evidence that you hear about, or the stories that you hear about that lead to the studies that
Yeah,
can help prove
that's true.
and that's how Dr. Meshulam in Israel, when he started studying the plant, he went back to records from 1,000 years ago and more, about
Mm-hmm.
the Egyptians and Native Americans and other people, and how they were giving this plant to people, and it was helping with seizures. Just over 1,000 years of documents talking about it, and he said, "Well, I'll start there."
Yeah.
And look what it's led to now. I mean, in other countries they're giving it right away for
Yeah.
children with seizure. In this country, they're studying about it. There's a lot of American medical refugees that are leaving the state that they live in, moving into states like California and Colorado that have medical laws, and actually now rec law. Well, we've had rec laws here in Colorado for a while now. You guys have the rec laws,
Mm-hmm.
so that people can have access to the product, so that they can treat their children. There's a number of cases, far too many to count, that I know of personally with the American medical refugees, where the neurologist has said, I can't do anything else. We've tried everything. And then they up and move, the family up and moves and comes to a state where they have free access to cannabis. And we have kids that are a year without seizures now, and they're having 100 a day. It's common now. And it started with anecdotes. So when you talk about, anecdotal studies or anecdotal stories of pets that are getting relief, it's promising to me, because I know at some point in time someone's going to pick up that ball and they're going to run with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get there. We're getting there slowly, but we're getting there.
Yeah, it's true. So you guys are really early adopters of this. Do you know how Dr. Shu just happened across it?
So Dr. Shu was a medical cannabis patient himself while he was practicing as a veterinarian, and he just came to realize, hey, this is helping me medically. This is helping a lot of people I know medically. It can also help animals. I want to bring this as a medicine to animals. Mm-hmm. One of our greatest responsibilities as veterinary professionals is being an advocate for the animals, because they can't advocate for themselves.
Exactly. How long did it take him to find the right formula, or to formulate this? I'm guessing did he start with like something that humans were working with and then adapt it?
I'm not exactly sure how he came to his specific formulations. That would be a more appropriate question for Dr. Shu to answer himself. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. No, I'm just very grateful that he did it at all. So it's a wonderful thing. So what you mentioned a bunch of different things that the product is good for. Do you have any favorite stories about pets that have used it that you can share?
Sure. I have. One of the best parts about my job now is reading or listening to people tell stories about how Vet CBD is helping their pets. It's stories that make me smile, stories that make me laugh, and sometimes I'm a huge sucker, so I cry a lot too. But it's just I hear the most amazing stories, and it's the best part of my job. I absolutely love it. If your listeners want to visit our website and check out some of those stories, we have quite a good list archived on our site as well, pet owners writing and their testimonials. I pulled a couple. I don't know if you want me to
Yeah, because I want people to be able to experience what others are talking about. So yeah, for sure.
So I'll read a brief one. Our Frenchie was diagnosed with severe spinal issues and hip dysplasia at only 6 months old. After seeing 3 different vets, we were informed our little man could no longer go on walks, play fetch with his toys, or stand on any type of concrete or hard ground. He would sit on one side of his butt and shake in pain. He ended up needing to take anti-inflammatory medications and muscle relaxers. This caused our baby to be constantly drugged up and sleeping. He was not the same dog. We decided to try Vet CBD. Since then, our little man has not been on any medications, prescriptions. He's not in any pain and is back to being a happy and playful puppy. Vet CBD has truly done wonders. We highly recommend this medicine.
Oh gosh, that is
it's
so.
It's just the fact that, prescription medications definitely have their place, but they also come with some side effects, and people want to look into other options. And if a medication like CBD can help their pet and not come with, the heavy sedative side effects or the possible organ damage, then they want to explore those options, and they have the right to explore those options and to use different options with their pets.
Definitely. And the funny thing is as you were talking about that, my 2 cats decided to come into the room and attack each other. So someone must have said something bad to the other one. Like, what the heck? Or they're saying, hey, it's time for some CBD. Might just be time for some CBD. So I have used it with our pets, and I had to tell you, and I have friends also who have used it. One of my friends in California uses it for he has small dogs, and small dogs with separation anxiety, and and he was surprised. And the surprising thing that I hear a lot, especially when it comes to that issue, and so it's great that you have a product there in California that people can use, is it works right away. He said first dose, the first dose, it was like the dog was a new dog, that he, when he left and came back, the dog wasn't running up and down trying to, like, where were you, where were you, and oh my god, how can you leave me. But the important thing to know is, and people are like, oh well, your dog's just stoned. It's like, no, because when someone else came to the door, the dog was alert and did bark and say, who are you, why are you here. And that's really important for people to realize, is because you're not getting your dog stoned with vet CBD. That's not what's happening. You're treating the symptom, and that proved to me that is what happens, is that it treated the anxiety, and the dog still alerted when it came to a stranger. And so no, your dog is not in a fuzzy state. It's awesome.
Right.
I
It's
used
not
it.
a sedative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I used it with Jackson, my son's dog, when he was very ill in July, and the vet said that they didn't expect for him to live through the weekend, and recommended just bringing him home, or putting him down. And we're like, well, we're going to do whatever we can. And so we brought him home with the big, strong antibiotics, and 5 liters of fluids to put under his skin. And with the antibiotics, took him out of the capsule, and because he wasn't eating or drinking or anything at that point, and mixed it with CBD, and put a little water in it, put in one of those little medicine syringes, that you use with babies and animals, and got it in his mouth. And within a day, he started eating, and now, what is it, 5 months later, he is 50 pounds heavier, because he was 45 pounds. He was terrible weight, and so now she's saying, okay, we can start backing off on the weight a little bit. Jumping around just like he was, like nothing ever happened. So when it comes to our pets, we love them so much, and there is a special place in the heart for these amazing animals. I mean, there's no better display, in my opinion, of unconditional love than a pet. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, and we want to do everything we can to help them. So, do you have, with your vet CBD, do you have like a way that they can take it preventatively, just as a healthy supplement, or is it only for if they're sick?
So I guess sort of like with the cancer, we don't advertise vet CBD to be given as a supplement. However, there's nothing wrong with taking N-cannabinoids into your body. There are probably a lot of benefits to that. So I know quite a few people who take cannabis as a preventative measure, as a supplemental measure, and I know quite a few people who give vet CBD to their pets who have nothing, quote unquote, wrong with them, but they just, they believe in cannabis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's not any studies or anything showing it, and so there would be no reason for you to recommend it. But there are people that are doing it, and they're having obviously positive results. Otherwise, or they feel like it's helping their pet. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it.
Sure. I think we all know how safe CBD is. CBD
Mhm.
is so safe to take. And people take supplements. People give their pets fish oil supplements. This, some people feel is similar and a good way to act as a preventative to certain ailments.
Yes, yes. And so that would so it is available if people want to do it that way, if that's how they want to help, if they feel it'll help prevent sickness in the future. Gosh, I mean, there's, it's really sad how often I hear about pets getting cancer now. And most people don't have pet insurance, pet health insurance.
Right.
And it's
Right.
thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yes.
And so, just for me personally, like I take CBD every day. It helps my asthma and helps my pain, but also I've read studies when it comes to inflammation and how inflammation can actually exacerbate things to possibly even cause cancer. And so for me, it's it's a preventative. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, I give it, you know, I give it to my pets as well. And
Sure.
obviously, the cats need a little bit today because they're
still
somebody's
rowdy.
pissed off at something. But it's great for Jackson, and he does have
Mm-hmm.
separation anxiety, and it's so funny when you see the difference and you see the true animal inside that
Mm-hmm.
has been hidden because of anxiety. Um,
Sure.
it's so wonderful when you can walk through the door and they're, instead of, literally peeing themselves because you're home and where have you been, to sitting on the couch looking up at you and the tail just starts wagging because you're home.
Yeah.
Such a
Yeah.
great difference.
It is such a great difference. And I think a lot of people are realize, separation anxiety can be annoying for them. They don't want their dog whining and crying and, sometimes peeing. But also you need to think about how that animal feels to be ridden with all of that anxiety. That cannot be a pleasant feeling.
Exactly. And for people who suffer from anxiety, they get that. but
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
but you're absolutely right. Look at it from your pet's point of view. They don't
Yeah.
want to be freaking out, and it's not something they can control. So help them out, please. Please. So within the state of California, how many places are you available?
I'd say at last count, we're in over 150 dispensaries, collectives, delivery services throughout, from the north to South San Diego, up in the North Bay.
Good. So you're completely spread out statewide then.
Exactly. Yeah, we're based
beautiful.
out of Los Angeles, and I'd say probably the majority of the locations that we're available is in Los Angeles, but we're available throughout the entire state.
Oh, that is wonderful. That is wonderful. Oh, I'm so excited for people to be able to get to that. So, how about you give us your website? And I'm guessing
Sure.
on your website they can find locations near them?
Absolutely. Yeah, if your listeners want to check out our website, it's www.vetcbd.com, vet as in veterinarian. And there's a locations page. You're able to find dispensaries near you if you're in California. There's a FAQ page. You can read a little bit about our teammates. It's a pretty good wealth of information. There are a few articles that we wrote discussing different ailments and how CBD can benefit those ailments.
That's great. And there's a page of testimonials?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, there's a lot of testimonials, and we add more every week. So.
And the great thing about reading through the testimonials, everyone, is it's a great way to find out how people are using it. If they're
Mhm.
right, like for example, Frenchie, the one that she just talked about. If they're, it was Frenchie, right? So
A
that's
little French, yeah.
oh, a
I
little
didn't
bit.
mention his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, by reading through testimonials, you'll find out what the ailment was typically of the pet and how it helped them. So
Exactly.
and the thing is because of the sensitivity of the product, the unwarranted sensitivity of what we're working with, to be completely honest, websites have to be careful about what they say. Companies have to be careful about what they say so that they don't piss off the wrong regulatory agency and have them come down on. I mean, it's beyond absurd. But when people post testimonials, that's where you can get the information from. And
Mhm.
so I really truly recommend reading when it comes to sites like Vet CBD. Read every testimonial you can so that you can
Absolutely.
yeah, it's like a jewel. It's like a little treasure hunt, finding how that product helped an animal with a similar condition that yours has. So, can you tell us pricing? What the pricing is for your products? Because you've got the two
Sure.
sizes.
Excuse me. Every dispensary is responsible for setting their own cost,
Hmm.
so it does vary
Hmm.
by
Is there
dispensary, by
range
collective.
though?
Usually our 1 ounce bottle is selling for $40 and a 2 ounce bottle is selling for $70. That's the usual price.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And does it so we do, does it say like how it says on there how to use it and all that information? So that's
Mhm.
perfect. And that's
Yeah.
that's great pricing. An ounce, and you can't really say how long it would last because it has to do with how big the pet is.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people ask me, well, how long is this going to last for my pet? And if they give me their pet's weight, I can tell them. But
Yes.
I mean, just like with anything, if you have a small dog or a cat, things are going to be a little bit more, cost friendly for you than if you have a Great Dane.
Exactly.
But that's the same as with, if the food you're buying your Chihuahua is going to cost a lot less than the food you buy your Great Dane. So it's similar to that.
And we had Great Danes. We had two. We've had four Great Danes, two at a time. They are
Oh,
definitely more
wow.
expensive than a Chihuahua.
Yeah.
And I don't care if you have a king size bed; it's not big enough. It's not. It's not
Well,
big
they
enough.
think they're a lap dog too. They try to get in your lap.
Exactly.
They
Oh my
don't
gosh.
realize they're 150
So me and my husband and two Great Danes in a king size bed, not big enough. Not big enough. But oh my gosh, they are when they talk about gentle giants. Oh man, how true, how true. They are awesome
Yeah,
with children too. As my
yeah.
personal experiences, they're great with kids. Oh my gosh, you don't have to worry about them, tripping over them and hurting them like little dogs.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah. So, um, any last words on what how you feel about using CBD with pets and what you hope to see happen in the next year when it comes to cannabis medicine and pets?
I hope to see more regulations change, if not on a state by state level, then hopefully on a federal level. I don't know if that's going to happen within the next year, but that's what I hope to see. I hope and we plan on being available to many more pet owners in different states. That's really our biggest goal at this point. We want to continue to cover California as best we can. Obviously, we want to make sure that everybody in California can find this for their pet, but we also want to make this available to people in other states for their pets because
Yes.
it's powerful medicine and all pets should have access to this.
Yes, definitely. Um, have you had any testimonials on your page for cats?
Yes, yes,
What
yes.
other
I
animals have you
think
had?
other animals, yes, we've talked to people using it on their bunnies, on their ferrets, a couple people with rats, a couple people with birds. We are currently working with some equine people. Dr. Shu wants to get a really great dose going for our equine patients. So that's something that we're looking into, branching out into the large animals a little bit. But yeah, like you mentioned before, all animals have an endocannabinoid system, so all animals can benefit.
Awesome. That's great to know that I mean, because a lot of times we think about dogs and cats and we don't think about the ferrets and the birds and the reptiles and stuff. And personally, because I don't have any experience with those types of animals, but that is great that you have that, you know, that you're getting feedback from all those different
Yeah.
areas. So
Yes.
okay, well, I am so appreciative of you spending time with us today. Like I said, have been wanting to get something about this on for quite some time, and thank you so much for giving us part of your day. It is truly, truly appreciated, and I hope that there are a lot of people in California that see this that will be able to help their pets with Vet CBD. And please let us know as you grow into other states so that we
Absolutely.
can alert those people. And
100%.
yes, and we just wish you the best. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure coming on and speaking with you. This was really great.
Okay, everybody, that's it for episode 31. We will catch up with you next week with more CBD Talk podcast. If you have missed prior ones, head over to cbdtalkpodcast.com. Click on the shows page or the archives page. Check out our Twitter account, CBD Talk Podcast, or our Facebook account, also CBD Talk Podcast. So we'll see you next week, and everyone stay healthy and stay happy. Bye-bye.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thanks again for listening, and be sure to tune in again next Wednesday at cbdtalkpodcast.com. Until then, stay happy and stay healthy.